Eala trains with Rafael Nadal on anniversary of his retirement. The Philippine tennis star trains with Nadal in Mallorca, 1 year after his retirement. Mallorca, Spain. Filipino tennis star Eala shared a special practice session this week with 22-time Grand Slam champion Rafael Nadal, held on Wednesday, November 19, 2025, exactly 1 year after Nadal's final professional match. For the 20-year-old Filipina, the session marked a symbolic return to the Rafa Nadal Academy, where she trained for years before rising into the world's top tier of women's tennis. A Filipina at the center of Nadal's anniversary hit. Videos released by the Academy show Eala and Nadal exchanging long baseline rallies and laughing between drills on an indoor court in Manacor. Nadal wrote that it felt great to be back on a tennis court, adding playfully to Eala, "Next time I will be stronger." Eala replied, "Back like you never left," reflecting both her admiration for Nadal and the familiarity built from years of training under the same system. While Nadal's anniversary appearance drew global attention, the moment placed Eala at the forefront of the day's narrative as a Filipina who has become one of the youngest players to advance on the WTA Tour. A meaningful return to familiar ground. Eala has been part of the Rafa Nadal Academy since her early teens, and the program remains central to her development. Practicing again with Nadal, now as an established professional, highlighted how far she has progressed from her junior years. Observers noted that Eala handled the rally pace with ease, absorbing Nadal's heavy forehands and generating her own pace with confidence. The session reflected years of shared training culture and growing trust in her abilities. Nadal's continued presence and Eala's rising stature. Nadal retired from professional tennis after Spain's Davis Cup Finals campaign in 2024. His anniversary hit with Eala was not framed as a comeback but as a tribute to the sport, the academy, and the young athletes he continues to guide. That he chose to mark the day by training with Eala carried symbolic weight. It signaled her rising international stature and her integration into the elite circles of the academy community. For Filipino fans, the images offered validation that Eala now competes and trains among the world's best. The practice did not involve trophies or ranking points, yet it resonated deeply. It underscored how Eala has become a significant presence in global tennis, capable of holding her own alongside one of the sport's greatest champions. The sun rose softly over Manacor, casting warm gold sheets across the courts of the Rafa Nadal Academy. It was quiet, unusually quiet for a place that usually buzzed with the sound of bouncing balls and the sharp echoes of ambition. November 2025 marked exactly 1 year since Rafael Nadal had announced his retirement, a day that still lived in the hearts of millions. The Academy staff had expected a solemn mourning, maybe even symbolic flowers placed by fans at the gate. No one expected Nadal himself to be the first to unlock Court 3. He arrived before dawn, racket bag in hand, the way he had done for 2 decades. But this time there was no ADP trainer, no physio following behind him, no cameras ready to capture his sweat. Just the crisp morning air and the restless itch of someone who had spent his life fighting a yellow ball and suddenly no longer had a battlefield. A few minutes later, footsteps approached. Light, quick, eager. "Buenos dias, Rafa?" Eala chirped, stepping onto the court with the fearless grin of someone who had grown up seeing him as an immortal figure rather than a man capable of retirement. Nadal turned, smiling softly. "Alex, you came early." "Well," she shrugged, lifting her racket, "you said you wanted to hit at 8. It's 8. You know it's 7:20, yes?" She grinned sheepishly. I got excited. There was something refreshing about Alex, ambitious but grounded, talented but humble. Nadal had always admired that about her. She trained the way he used to, eyes focused, shoulders relaxed until the moment of impact, then a burst of instinctive fire. And maybe, on this anniversary, she was exactly the kind of energy he needed. A special kind of session. As they rallied, the rhythm grew familiar, almost nostalgic. Nadal's forehands cracked with their usual heavy spin. Even after a year off the tour, he still bent physics the way he pleased. But there was no audience to roar, no scoreboard to dictate the pace. Just 2 players trading balls under the Mediterranean sun. Alex tried to keep her cool, though she couldn't stop smiling. "Your ball is still so heavy," she said mid-rally, slightly breathless. Nadal chuckled. "Heavy is good. Keeps you honest." She hit a sharp backhand winner down the line. "And that," Nadal nodded, "keeps me honest." Their coach-student banter made the session feel more like a celebration than an obligation. Nadal wasn't just training her. He was rediscovering a part of himself he feared he had lost when he played his farewell match in 2024. The world had mourned, tributes had flooded in, documentaries had been made, but no one really knew how difficult retirement had been for him. For the first time since he was 3 years old, there was no tournament to prepare for. Just silence. And memory. Today, though, the silence didn't feel so heavy. Alex filled it with laughter and gentle competitiveness, forcing Nadal to dig a little deeper each time. Remembering the journey. During a water break, Alex sat beside him on the bench. "Feels weird, doesn't it?" she asked. 1 year. Nadal looked at his hands. Those hands that had lifted Grand Slam trophies, those hands that had taped themselves through pain, cramping, and elation. "See," he said quietly. "A year passes fast. Faster than I expected." "Do you miss it?" she asked softly. He smiled, not sad but reflective. "The competition sometimes. The adrenaline. The crowd." Then he tapped his chest. "But mostly, I miss the fight." Alex nodded. She knew the fight well. It was the invisible opponent all athletes faced, the one that demanded early mornings, aching muscles, and unwavering discipline. But she also knew something else. "You didn't lose the fight," she said. "You passed it on. To players like me." Nadal looked at her then, genuinely touched. "Gracias, Alex. That means a lot." A rally for the memories. After their break, Nadal suggested something unexpected. "Let's play a tiebreak," he said with that familiar glint, the one television viewers had memorized for years. Alex's eyes widened. "Are you sure?" "I don't want to." "Beat me?" Nadal laughed. "Don't worry. I've been beaten by better players than you." She gasped in mock offense, smacking him lightly on the arm. They walked to opposite baselines. The tiebreak began with intensity. Nadal, even at 39 and retired, still moved with grace, sliding across the clay with that unmistakable hunger. Alex countered with speed and precision, her shots skimming the lines with the confidence of a rising star. At 5-4, Nadal spun a vicious wide serve. Alex barely reached it, flicking a desperate forehand. The ball clipped the net and trickled over. Nadal groaned dramatically. "Alex, on the anniversary? You do this?" She laughed so hard she nearly dropped her racket. At 6-6, the intensity rose. Nadal unleashed a forehand down the line, but Alex anticipated it, sending a backhand cross-court winner that left him frozen. "Match point." He nodded, proud. "Muy bien."